we go.
Okay.
Welcome to another episode, a new episode of Muva podcast. Now, back by popular demand, we have Michael Ferrari, co-founder of Gentle Giant Moving and Storage. Michael, thanks for coming. Great to have you back again.
Oh, thanks for having me here. It's awesome. I love these podcasts.
Well, you're in high demand, mate. I'll tell you that.
That's great. That's great. Okay.
So, if we can, I'll just go back on recapping a little bit on some of the things, just to recap on how you got into moving. And last time we talked a lot about your experiences with NASCAR and being a drummer in a rock band. Can you remind us what came first?
Well, basically, what came first was the racing. I came out to California with $1,000 in my drum kit. I fell into a Nissan GTP racing team and got to do pit crew. I did the tires. And then in 92, Nissan, it kind of fell apart. It wasn't doing too well, so they kind of pulled the plug. So basically how I started, I looked at the Recycler magazine in El Segundo, California, and that's where I found my first job. So I went back to the El Segundo Recycler and I saw Gentle Giant looking for actually packing and moving.
Oh.
So I applied for that. That's basically what I did.
So the El Segundo Recycler was like an old newspaper that had ads for odd jobs in there?
Yeah, it had just like classified ads in the back, and I lived in that town. So I figured, just find something local. And my whole goal was to, come out for music. That was my whole goal. And the opportunity I had to get on that race team, I could not pass up. I mean, I got to do the 24 hours of Le Mans. I've done 6 24 hours of Daytona. I got to go to Sebring. I went to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, Watkins Glen, New York. I went all over in racing, and it was an awesome experience, but I had to sit back with my drumming, but it was a chance to put money away, save, and chase my dream. So after that fell apart, I went into the Recycler, which is a wanted ad from El Segundo, and saw Gentle Giant looking for packers and movers, really. That was it. So I had some money saved. I thought I can do that and just kind of pay my bills and chase my dream. And that happened.
Pretty cool that you could chase your dream. So you see this job, you applied for it. Was it with Gentle Giant, the job, or where was it?
Yeah, it was Gentle Giant. It was packing. And I applied it, and Patrick Griffin, an Irish guy, started the company in 1987 with just one truck out of a house in Venice. The guy was a genius. I mean, he started with one truck, he built it up. And so I was doing packing, and I was there for like a week, and the guy who was the head packer didn't show up. So Patrick gives me all this paperwork and says, here, you need to do this, figure this out. And I'm like, well, I've never been the head guy at packing. Just add the boxes, blah, blah, blah. So I did all the paperwork, and he was impressed with me. So he asked me, would you be interested in doing estimates? And I really didn't want to. I just wanted to chase my dream. But when I was walking down the hallway, the old warehouse we had in El Segundo had a bunch of offices up there that he wasn't using. So my theory was, okay, I'm going to do estimates, and then I'm going to practice my drums because the warehouse was right down the street where I lived. So basically, that's what happened. And I just did estimates, and then I got into the band in 1992. He was very generous. He let us practice there after hours.
So you were practicing at the warehouse, the Gentle Giant warehouse, then with the band?
Yeah. Yeah, in 1992, it's a crazy story. In 1992, I got into a band, and we were practicing, and practice was very cool about it. He let us. It was a warehouse industrial area. So I would do estimates at get up at 6, do estimates from 8 until 5:30, 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon, evening. I'd run back to back to my apartment. I'd eat a TV dinner, run back and practice at 8 o'clock at night until 1 o'clock in the morning. And I did that Monday. We practiced Monday, Wednesday, and Friday religiously. I mean, we were a very, very structured band.
How long? So you've practiced of an evenings. How long would these practice sessions go for?
From 8 o'clock at night until 1 in the morning.
Oh, that's
Yeah. Oh,
amazing.
it was brutal. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would work on the songs because it was perfect for me because
Yeah.
I'd drive around doing estimates. So I'd put the cassette in and I would listen to the music because we were a very structured band. Like we had to, the end of the day on Monday, what we learned, we had to come in Wednesday and know that we don't start from the scratch again because you never get anything done. And we were very structured. And then in 1999, we got a $2.5 million record deal.
No kidding.
Yeah, on this record company called Wind Up Records, which is the same label as Creed, and they had major money, a minor label, not a major label, but a mini label, but major money. They liked us. The guys were totally cool, and they signed us. So in '99,
So
yeah,
when they signed you in '99, did you stop with the moving, quoting estimate business at all altogether, or did you just continue to do it on the side?
No, I told Patrick, look, I mean, right when we got signed, we were, it was going quick. We went to Vancouver. We recorded the record in Bryan Adams' studio called Gastown. And it went fast. And I just told him, thank you. But, you know, my dream, I mean, I couldn't pass this up. So, and we had I mean, this was a big deal. We had signing bonus, I had equipment bonus, and I was very good with my money. So, you know, I always put it away because I knew when you're a musician, you never quit your daytime job. You know what I mean? So I always put money away. So I was okay, but this was my dream, man. This is what I came out to do. And everybody told me I couldn't do it. And we're just a garage band. We were nothing special.
You were a garage warehouse band.
Yeah, garage band. Exactly. I mean, we should have called ourselves a Gentle Giants.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah, literally.
You know, so after that, yeah, I told Patrick, I'm so sorry, but I left. I gave him some time to find another estimator, so he did.
Yep.
And then off on the road I went.
So but then you came back to moving.
Okay, so then we were doing very well. We're up to about 150,000 CDs in the United States and 50 in Europe. Right. And you basically go back and forth. You tour United States 9 months, you go to Europe 3 months. You go back and forth and build up a following. Yep. So what happened was everything was going great. We got to play Leeds and Reading in England, which is like Woodstock over here, 80,000 people. It was just fantastic. Amazing. Then we're at the BBC recording a radio interview, going back to open up for the Cult, do a 30,000 seater, everything going great. A second video is going to come out on MTV. We're all dialed in, and boom, the planes hit the Trade Center, and my career is over.
So that would be 2001.
Correct. Yeah.
And that was it. That was a stopping point right there.
That was it. It just dead. I mean, it was just a whole chain of events. We had a video that was going to come out on MTV. The end of the video had the world coming to an end. They wouldn't play that. The record company said, go back in the studio. They were 5 blocks from the World Trade Center. They were in New York City, and they freaked out. They took Evanescence, Creed, Drowning Pool. They took all their bands off the road and go in the studio and write a new record. And we're like, what? Write a new record? I mean, we're a garage band. It took us like 10 years to write the first record. You know what I mean? So It's not that easy to write a record that people want to hear and the record company wants to sell. You have to do kind of a cheeseburger song. So basically my career's done. You know, I'm in my middle 30s. I'm done. You know, look, it's great to be in a rock band, but once you get that and then it all falls apart, you know, it's hard to get at that age. It's hard to get back into it. I mean, I'm a good drummer, but you know, the competition is brutal out there in music, you know?
Yep. That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. So you've said, you know, this industry is going to just kill me or take me down and my odds of success are slim. I'm going to go back into moving. And you went back and approached Patrick at this point in time? Yeah,
because, you know, here's one thing my father taught me. I mean, you got to keep your word. You got to be honest. You got to be straightforward. You know, there's a lot of people that are shaky. And that's why I really like the music business. There's a lot of shaky. There's people who will shake your hand and be so cool. And then before you know it, they're stabbing you in the back, you know? Yep. So, and I don't know. I just thought that at my age, and look, I'm good, but you know, come on, you got to get really think about it. And, you know, so I went back to Patrick and I had a great relationship with him. And he said, yeah, sure. Come on back. So I started doing estimates again. Wow. And I was kind of bummed because it really wasn't what I wanted to do. You know, I mean, it's a crazy story. I played with Linkin Park, which is a huge band, and
Yes.
then in 2003, I'm delivering boxes to the lead singer. You know what I mean?
Did you release lead
Yeah,
delivery
I'm not
boxes?
kidding. He didn't know. He didn't recognize me because a drummer. You know, they don't
Yeah.
recognize a drummer. But I
Yeah.
played leads and I played a Reading Festival with Linkin Park in
Did you tell
2001.
him you played with him?
No, because he doesn't. You know, he didn't care.
Yeah.
Put the boxes over here. You know what I mean? But I played leads in Reading with Linkin Park in 2001, the
Yeah.
Reading Festival, and then he had buying his new place, and everything fell apart. So I'm kind of doing estimating, kind of helping out Patrick and doing boxes, and just because I had an estimator, so he's trying to fill me back in to do stuff,
Mm-hmm.
So I just started doing, I'll do whatever. I'm pretty open to do that. I'll move. I'll do whatever it takes. I needed a job and I needed to go back, and thank God he hired me back. So he goes, oh, we got to do a box delivery. Can you deliver it to this guy? And I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. And yeah, it was the lead singer from Linkin Park. And I'm like, wow, things changed quick,
That's pretty classic.
And that's my life. That's how things have changed. I went to Nissan, to Rock Band. And then after that, 2007 and 8, Patrick was getting really tired of the business. Mm-hmm. He was looking at a way out, and he wanted to kind of get into some partnerships. I was there for a while. I helped kind of build it a little bit with my sales. And he was just very generous, man. It was an awesome opportunity.
So
that
you had the opportunity at that point to take over and be a co-founder with, can you talk about that? But that's with Maria, correct?
Yeah. Now, Maria Cates, she came from another moving company, answered phones at like 19 and moved all the way up. Wow. She's awesome. She knows everything about the moving industry. Look, I'm really good at sales. I'm good with the crew. I believe in teamwork. When I was with the Nissan team, I saw teamwork. I mean, we had 12 guys that we dominated in 1988, and it's all about communication. And another thing, having the right equipment, having the right attitude, and doing it right, and teamwork. And I tell my guys, you're not movers, man. You're professional furniture relocators, because people come down a lot on the movers, and it's hard work. I mean, try to get a sofa, 8-foot sofa up 2 flights of stairs in the living room. Try to do that. It's not easy. Yep. And I don't know. I got the opportunity to kind of take over and actually do estimates. And then Maria runs the kind of the business aspect. I do the sales and kind of the deals and do estimates and stuff like that.
So how did you and Maria Cates meet?
Well, she came in, I think she came in around 2000, and she was working with Patrick. And Patrick was a brilliant man. Like, he was very smart, and but he kind of had a lot of people around. It was kind of dysfunctional, like not the greatest as far as like doing the billing and stuff. And she came in, and I was like, wow, she had a suit, she came with a business suit. Like, this is, wow, we're professional now. I mean, I was going out with jeans, and like I changed and put Dockers on, and like she was real professional. And then it just didn't really work out. And she got a very good opportunity in Houston, and she went to Houston. And then when I had this opportunity to be a partner, I begged, borrowed, and stealed with Patrick. And I said, listen, I'm only doing it with Maria. If you want to be partners, he was getting all these other people, and 3 here, this over here, all the other people. I said no, because I can sell and I can build the confidence in the guys, get teamwork, because I know that, because I grew up with a father that taught me that. But I don't know all the workman's comp and taxes, and that's a lot to know all that stuff. So she does that, and I just said no. Then, because he really wanted me, because we had a good relationship, and so I said, no, there's no way. And then he just like, okay. And then that's kind of what happened. And then we took it over in around 08, 09. Right when the housing market dumped. That's what I'm saying. Great luck that I got.
Well, moving, I don't think correct me here. You've been in the business for a long time now. It doesn't really change with the recession or boom market, does it?
Yes, actually, you're right. You know, it actually is great when the economy is good, people go from small to big. When the economy
Hmm.
is bad, they go from big to small. But when the
Yep.
economy dumps and no one has any money, people are just leaving their houses with all their stuff in it and not even showing up. I mean, I
Oh,
feel the banks made a big problem there. They should have just said, okay, what can you afford, and still maintain the house. Instead,
yep.
they threw everybody out, and then the houses were just let go. And what happened was that the housing market dumped. Storage people weren't paying for any of our storage. It was really
Oh
difficult.
boy. Yeah.
So I started thinking outside the box. Really, I just
Hmm.
started thinking, okay, we got to keep going. My goal is to make sure these guys can feed their families. So I
Yep.
figured out other ways of revenue with, like, unfortunately, there were, a lot of people would get divorced back then. So a lot of
Hmm.
divorce lawyers, there were a lot of working there. And I went into checking out, um, there was a false washing machine on one of the washing machines that had a problem, and it would leak the house. So I called State Farm, Allstate,
Yeah.
and I just referred them. I said, listen, I do good work. I'm not the cheapest, I'm not the most expensive, but I do quality work, and I stand behind my guys and my name,
Yeah.
and it worked. It got us kind of
Yeah.
out. And
Did.
I did help out a lot of people in storage. I did take a cut. We all took a cut, not the guys, but we all took a pay cut in the office, and we just kind of buckled up the bootstraps, it's moving,
Yep.
and just did it.
You did it. And now here you are, one of the
Yeah.
most successful moves in the Los Angeles basin.
Yeah,
So
it's kind of
now,
tricky because
yeah,
we do
it
really
is.
good work, and it's fine. It's specialized. We do. I appreciate you even finding us. I mean, Muva, I think, is great because the problem that I have on estimates is not getting an accurate quote, and with Muva, you can do that. It's great.
Well, thank you. That is most appreciated. So as a co-founder, you've moved people from all walks of life. Can you think of any moving experiences that stand out for you in your time?
Let's see. Well, we did. Yeah, there was one. We moved this real highfalutin producer,
Right.
and he had a horse that was a lamp mosaic, and that thing was over $900,000.
A
It was
nine
at it.
hundred thousand
Yeah,
dollar what was it?
it was a
Painting?
mosaic horse, a horse like a
Oh
standing
my,
horse
oh
lamp.
my
Yeah,
God. Okay.
that you would think that came out of Wolfgang Puck's house. You know what I mean? Like, almost. I was custom done. It was awesome,
Right.
and I had my A team. Well, all my guys are pretty. All my guys are great, but I had guys that specialize in that, and
Yep.
I basically I had like the truck, two cars in front, two cars in back, and then I was behind it. So I said, if somebody rear ends, they're gonna have to go through me first before they hit that horse. So we've done that, and then we've also had an armoire in Wilshire that the customer insisted on getting it into his penthouse, and it wouldn't go up the stairs, and it would not go in the elevator. And a lot of times we do, which is very shaky. We get the engineer and we put
Yep.
it on top of the elevator casing, and we go up the shaft, which
Oh
is
my gosh.
crazy. Yeah, it's outside the elevator shaft, and we go, it's kind of crazy. But anyway,
Yeah.
couldn't do it, so we hoisted it. And it was like 8 a.m, and people are eating breakfast and watching this armoire go to the side of this Wilshire building.
And if this thing, but you're hoisting it,
Yeah.
it's on a cable then.
Yeah. We had a massive rope. We had a couple guys that were in the military at the time, and a massive rope. We just threw it over the whole building and just blanket wrapped the hell out of it with a big net, and just like he hoved it right up to the penthouse because he had an upper deck. He wanted a very top upper deck, and it was all one piece. The crown wouldn't come off, the doors wouldn't come
Oh
off.
my goodness.
It was like, and I'm like, sir, let's just cut it in half. And nope, he wouldn't do it. So,
You did it. But you did
yeah.
it. When you got it up there, did you celebrate? You must have been
Yeah,
celebrate just to get
it
it
is.
up
I
there.
kind of just like, after that, I kind of thought, you know what, man, we can do it all. I mean,
Yeah.
I got great guys, and I can do it all. I just it's funny. 3 weeks ago, I just craned a 900-pound cement custom tub into a house, into a custom.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I just did that about I don't know, a month ago.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I mean, this is insane.
Yeah. So yeah, we do it all, but mainly we do moving. We do internet. We do
Yeah.
households.
Yeah.
That's our specialty. We know how to do you know the chairs and wrap them
Yeah.
properly. And that's the one thing. We shrink wrap and pad, and that's in the hourly rate.
Well,
That's
this is an
important.
interesting question it brings to my mind. You talk about having moved these very expensive and specialty items But you've also done some business moving as well. Can you explain how moving a business is different to moving a residence?
Sure. A business is basically what we do is you put everything on a dolly and
Mm-hmm.
everything goes into the truck. It's like a snowblow load and snowblow unload. Okay. And then it's kind of round robin it. The house we wrap, we take our time, we got pads, we prep the house. Businesses, it's kind of like, okay, get the file cabinet on it, wrap it up, put it on a dolly, boom. And then we have like 500 dollies we take out, and then everything's on a dolly. So just dollied in, dollied out. And we put like, 20 guys on it. We have to do it at like 7 o'clock at night. They're kind of tough. Sometimes in
Right.
early in the morning. And then
Is the 7 p.m. at night was because after hours with the business? Is that the typical
yeah, because they
reasoning?
don't allow. Yeah, they have a service elevator, but sometimes you have to go through the lobby. Then you have to put masonite up because you have to protect the flooring. And you got business. You got people going through the lobby. You can't be moving. They don't want that, and they're
Yep.
paying rent, so of course they're going to complain. So
Yep.
you have to be quick. And the way I always do it, and I've done it. I've learned now because my guys are seasoned, and I'm not doing any more 4-men 10-hour days. I'm doing 5-men 8. I mean, people don't really understand that, but it's better with quicker, more men in less hours. So when I do an office move, some people might put in 10 guys. I'll put in 20 or 15 because you got guys that just kind of push it to the truck, and then you got the guys that load it and get it going. And it goes pretty efficient. On top of that, we have plastic totes where a lot of times we'll just bring out the totes, a couple weeks before, and the client and the employees can load up all the plastic totes, and then we just move them. And they all click on a big system and they roll on a dolly, so it's really quick. That's the key.
When you're booking a move with the business, do you explain to them the need to go for more men rather than fewer men? To explain to them that it's actually going to end up being safer and equally cost efficient for you by doing more men?
Yeah, because basically most people get it. Like I deal with a lot of
with businesses, do they get it more so than people, or is it equally
totally
difficult?
Yeah, totally do. And another thing is, here's the deal: you have a curfew, like
Right.
like we do a marina high rise. You have to be out by 5. It doesn't matter if you have an armoire in that elevator and it's 5 o'clock. The security will throw you right out in the street. You have to be out. So I always put extra men. So I'm always done by 3. And you just never know in moving. So you never know. The bed could be a little bit more difficult to take apart. You just never know. So it's kind of that old saying, CYA. You know what I mean? And that's what I do. A lot of guys will bring out 3 guys to do a 4-man, to do a 4-bedroom house, and they're there until 7 o'clock at night. That's where attitudes happen. That's where damages. You can't. It's just hard. And I tell people this. I mean, think about it. You guys, most people move once every 5 years.
Right.
We do it every day. And these guys have to rest. So I have a really good system. I put more men, and I kind of tell people, look, if you really don't want to do it that way, then I just, thank you for the opportunity to do an estimate, but I'm going to move on and just go to the people that understand the way I want to move, because I don't want to beat up my guys,
Yeah. That's a big key point, because if you're beating up your guys, they're going to do bad work somewhere down the line, or they're going to get injured, or something bad is going to happen.
Yeah. And also an office move is very important too, that, don't forget, you're dealing with a commercial realtor, a commercial property owner that these guys don't mess around. You scratch the elevator door, that's $3,500 a door. So they want you in and out, and that's what we do. And you got to prep it very well. I usually take pictures because, you never know, you get blamed for stuff that you didn't do. So, we go in, we take pictures before we even set up. I have a guy go in there, take pictures of the office, the elevator, the flooring, everything. Then we lay masonite down, and then we start wrapping, and we start bringing dollies in and get, dollies all up and ready to go. And it's like a well-oiled machine. And the key on local moving is really, it's not based on the company. It's based on time and you being organized, ready to go. The first thing we do is take all the boxes out and all the small stuff. Then once all the furniture is wrapped up, we take the big stuff out. And then once the bed's apart, we take that out. And then the wardrobes come in. And then once that's all done, we go to the destination. We bring the bed in first, then the dresser, okay, then the boxes. It's a total system. And my guys, the key is teamwork. So I was able to get team guys together. I got 2-man jobs. I got 3-man guys, 4-man guys, 5-man guys, 6 guys, 8 guys that all work together, that know once that truck shows up, the driver goes to the customer. Those other guys are taking out those pads. They're getting the dollies. They're prepping the flooring and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And it's like, I kind of like to run it. And that's what I tell my guys. I kind of want to like to run like a pit stop. When I used to do pit stop, we used to be able to change.
Pit stops in your Nissan GTP days.
Nissan, yeah. I used to be able to change when I did pit stops back in the day. We used to be able to change 4 tires. Now again, 5 guys over the wall, 4 guys can touch the car. They would, change 4 tires, fuel a car, change the driver, and wash the windshield in 17 seconds.
That's
we don't
moving.
move that fast because we want to be safe. But I kind of put that teamwork towards my company to say, listen, teamwork, lift up and they all do that. They, on 1, 2, 3 lift, because
bang, like a finely tuned team machine.
Right.
So this is pretty interesting for a lot of people to consider. There's the differences between the number of men versus the number of hours. The number of men makes it more efficient. It doesn't necessarily make it more cost efficient. It's used, but it doesn't take away from the cost. In other words, when you're suggesting running 5 men as opposed to 3 men, it means that it's more per hour, but at the end of the day, you're looking at a more efficient and safer program and fewer hours, correct?
Yeah, the only thing that can kind of get you a little bit would be the driving. Let's say you're going to LA to San Luis Obispo. What I would do is I would do 3 guys and do it in 2 days. Or if they wanted them, I got to put 8 guys in it. But then, because I want to be done. Look, I want to be back by 5 or 6. The DOT are very strict on rules now. I mean, I got 2 brand new trucks that have electronic log. And if they, my guys, people don't understand this, but when we're at 8 o'clock in the morning at the customer's house, they've been up at 5 to get to the warehouse at 6 to get to the customer's house at 8. So they're already up 3 hours. So I don't want my guys to come back at 7, 8 o'clock at night. I mean, it's not fair because everyone else works an 8-hour day. So I got to do, and they're moving furniture. And with these brand new trucks I have with electronic logs, if you program them in there and then they're at 8 o'clock at night, you're screwed. So the truck will shut down. So what I do is if it's a long drive time, I do it to where I can do it one day. We put these special locks on these, we special bands on these locks on our truck, so we have not been in the truck, so it's secure. And then we deliver it the next day. There are people that say, no, I want to be in my new house in Santa Barbara tonight. I don't care what you do, make it happen. So I make it happen. But with something like that, I put, someone will quote that 4 guys. I will put 6 because it's just a lot quicker, man. Now you got 2 guys taking a bed apart. Now you got 2, 2, and 2. You got 3 guys, 3 teams, 2, 2, and 2, taking 3 pieces of furniture, big pieces out at once. Now here's the only thing you have to be careful. This is where my kind of experience comes in estimating. And this is why that Muva is awesome, because you do show the access. Now, let's say you have, the guy wants to do it in one day, but you want 8 guys on it, but there's only 1 access. Well, that's not a good way of doing it. I would tell him, look, you got to do it in 2 because they're going to be bumping into each other. You can't get one way. Now, if you have a garage and another access, then you got 2 and 2. You can flow out both ways. I got 2 trucks, one truck at one end, 1 truck at the other end. Boom, power load, and let's get it done,
Yeah, that's brilliant. So you're now, not only are you saving time here, valuable time, but you really are making it more secure and saving them in the long run money. Yeah,
here's where it goes back. When you have 3 guys, okay, they're getting to the unload around 2, okay, that's not good. And there's a lot of loose stuff. By 5:36, think about it. 5 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 13 hours, man.
That's just too long.
It's not right. It just can't. And I don't operate like that anymore. I mean, back in the day we used to, but
sorry to interrupt you here, Michael, but is this when we're referring to the local versus long distance? You brought that up just a few minutes ago there.
Yeah. Actually, let me Yeah, let me correct that. Yeah, it's basically local.
So what do you call
Even
local? If you're, well, let's say we're in LA, where your headquarters are in Hawthorne. Let's say a move within LA you would consider local, but would you say another area say you were to move to Santa Barbara, that's long distance now, correct? What you brought
well,
up.
basically how it works is a local move is within 100 miles.
Right.
Anything outside of 100 miles is an intra-move, intrastate.
Right.
And then anything outside of that is interstate.
Right.
So it goes by the weight. Anything after 100 miles has to go by the weight. You know, a lot of people still bid it by hourly, 3 hours up, 3 hours back, everything, but you're not supposed to. You got to go by the weight. So what we do is I usually just go through, and I have a formula that I use, and it's pretty accurate. It's a little heavy though. I've learned, man, it's a lot easier to tell a customer that it's your move is $5,000 and, oh no, it's 4,200, than say, it's 4,200. Oh man, you know what? It's $5,000
Yep.
because of this. Oh, we didn't know the bed was stripped. We didn't know that you didn't have any hardware for the bed. We didn't know, that, you told me it was a 2-level house. It's a tri-level.
Yes. Yeah. So
That's
Michael, this brings up a really interesting question that I had for you, and I've seen a lot. There's been a lot in the news media, both on the digital news media and even in the visual news media, about shady moving schemes. And maybe it's there's shady movers, or maybe it's just the problem between the moving company and the discommunication with the customer. But can you tell us, you've witnessed a lot of this in your years. Can you tell us what is happening here?
Yeah, well, basically what's happening is, California has changed a lot. They had a lot of complaints. They had, I think, over 10,000 complaints with the PUC, which is the Public Utilities Commission in California. I don't know about other states, but the regulation now is the fact that when we come in, I give you a price. It basically covers shrink wrapping and padding all your furniture. Okay, because that's in the hourly rate. That is not an extra charge. You do not allowed to charge the customer extra. And when you do packing, the boxes include all the materials. And the reason why they stopped it about 6 years ago. It's a way for the movers to have an open door policy for the customer to really rip them off. I mean, back in the day, when I did my numbers and formulas, I did estimates, we used to charge $9 an hour per man for materials. That's what it is. You can't do that anymore. So the box prices include all the materials. So at the end of the day, you can count up all the boxes, small, medium, and large, and that's all you pay. And then the hourly rate in the move covers the shrink wrapping. There is no extra charges. The only charge is mattress bags because it's a health issue. But these guys come out with a low hourly rate, and they're killing my business a lot. They come out with a low hourly rate. They do the move for you, and at the end of the move, they go, oh, I'm so sorry, but we owe 500 feet of shrink wrap, and we use 25 rolls of tape at $15 a roll. You use $500 for wrapping materials. Now you got 3 guys in the house. The customer's like, whoa, I didn't know that. Oh no, we don't know what we're going to use. We don't know until we use the materials, and that's how it goes. And you need to pay us that, And a lot of times it goes, the little shaky ones, they will leave the most expensive. They will negotiate with you when there's still stuff on the truck. And that's not cool. You get everything off, you sit there, you got the TV, you got the China cabinet that's worth a fortune, and that all stays on the truck, and then you're negotiating. And now, you know what I mean? So
wouldn't there be also a bit with the time? So they tell is there a bit of the time involved is critical here, because if you're saying you've got 3 movers and you'll take 5 hours, but you take 9 hours, that's a big difference, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, really, you should do what you have, Andrew. You should do the mover so you have a clear idea. Over the phone, I can call you over the phone $400 for a 4-bedroom. It doesn't mean anything. You got to have something. You got to always have a detailed list, or the video is the best thing to do, because you can see exactly what type of furniture it is. If it's particle board and IKEA, I tell people just dump it. It's not meant to be moved. It's going to cost you more to move it. People have these platform IKEA beds they want us to take apart. You're tripping over $1,000 to save 100. It's not worth it. Dump it. Drag it behind your car. I tell that to people. Now, if it's really good furniture, like long distance is what I tell people. Long distance, if it's great furniture and it's good stuff and you like it, take it. It's cheaper to move it than buy it when you get there, as long as it's good stuff. If it's IKEA, tie it in the back of your car and drag it down the street. It's not worth it. It's just not. And then if you don't like it, I get people like, oh, I just don't like this crap. I hate it. Well, then and if you're going over 2,000 miles, then don't take it if you don't like it, But if you're going to Vegas and you're kind of on the fence, it's not that far from California, then I'd take the kitchen sink, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
local, the key on local, and it's hard for me because I like to be honest and I like to be straightforward with people. And there's a lot of times where people are not organized. I walk into a house and I said, the lady's like, okay, I have a color code and this is where my estimate's going to be. And I have the schematic of where all this stuff's going to be. I think that's great. I walk into a house, the dog's jumping all over the place. The kids are screaming, there's junk mail packed to the hill, and they are not organized and ready. I know they're not going to be ready to go on the day of the move. I'm going to add a guy and I'm going to add some more time just to be safe, because we're going to have to show up the day of the move and do packing. I just know that, and that's just kind of comes with experience. But as far as, moving locally, you really should have a clear idea what you want to move. Mm-hmm. Your move is amazing. The Muva video is amazing because we can see it, and an accurate quote, and that's the key.
An accurate quote from a qualified licensed mover. You do the research also on the background of the mover, I would say.
Yeah, and here's the thing. Yeah, you got to, it's always good to get, if you're referred, but you've done your research.
Licensing of being licensed would be a key thing that you'd want to know with a moving company.
Yeah, there's a PUC number. Well, they changed it now. It used to be the PUC, but like they said, they'd shut that down. Now it's the Consumer Protection Agency.
But this is just for California. So just for our audiences, this is just for the state of California, the PUC deal.
Yeah, this is just for, Public Utilities Commission, just for California, but it's no longer around. Now it's the Consumer Protection Agency. Mm-hmm. And they're actually going to start going after, we call them rogue movers. They're right. Rogue movers. They're the ones that ask for a deposit, which you shouldn't. Mm-hmm. They really don't have a license. You got to look to see if they have a PUC license number. I'm not a big fan of the Better Business and all that stuff. It's like you can pay for that stuff. You got to really just see, you kind of got to do some research and making sure they're registered and they're not a rogue mover. But like I said, you've done your research. You've done extensive. I mean, you came to my warehouse, I don't know, before I even got on Muva. I don't know how many times.
No. We spent a lot of time together.
I mean, I don't have kids, but I was like, geez, this guy's going to take my first blood of my No, you went through everything to make sure my crew, I mean, like I said, all my guys are background checked. They're all full-time professional movers. There's no one I pick up off the street, but that's how and that's what's so great about Muva, because you've done all the legwork. People don't know where to look. That's the problem. They don't know where to look, and you've done all the legwork where, and I stand behind my job, my work.
That's just key. Now, I know some movers do take small deposits, a booking deposit, but that would be small relative to the move, right? Is that something?
Well, yeah, definitely. You want to, with moving what you have, yeah, definitely. But what I'm saying is, you can take a deposit with Muva because you have a concrete idea what you're moving. Right. But when you take a deposit from some guy over the phone and says, I have a 2-bedroom. Look, I've been in a 2-bedroom that took an 18-wheeler, and I've taken them in a 2-bedroom that took a half a truck. Yeah. You have to see it, or you have to have some type of foundation. I will never quote a job unless I get a list or unless I see it. And the problem is I turn down a lot. And that's why I wish.
So there would be a problem with the list too, because the beds are different sizes and fridge are different weights and that sort of thing, wouldn't there?
Yeah, well, like I said, with your new technology and with Muva, I'm shining away, and I keep referring people to you because I'm shining.
And we love it, by the way. Thank you.
Well, no, because look, Andrew, I'll be honest with you. Okay, this is what I have to do when somebody sends me a list. Then I have to, and then they don't even give me the address, which is the toughest thing. Then I have to Google Earth it. I have to look at it. I can't even see half the time. You have one-stop shop. I get the whole thing, everything. I got a full video. I know exactly what I'm moving. They show the outside. You show the distance from A to B. It's awesome.
Well, mate, thank you. I greatly, I'm very, not only do I appreciate that, it's very good to get feedback from people like yourself that have been in the game for so long and know the ins and outs, and you're teaching people, but you're teaching us also about what are critical elements that need to be seen. So you're giving a proper evaluation. And that's one of the really key things here. I want to ask another question too of you here. This last year has been interesting to say the least, for everybody on this planet. What are some of the most significant changes you've seen in the moving industry itself over the past 12 months?
Well, basically, the safety precautions we've been taking, mask,
Mm-hmm.
gloves, sometimes even booties,
Mm-hmm.
and even sometimes a whole like hazmat suit on. Some people are very freaked out, and
Yeah.
we and again, I'm in the people business and I'm in moving. And look, moving is one of the top stressful things in life.
Right.
So a lot of times people, if they want what they want, I do it, I do it. But we have gloves, and it's difficult too because you're sweating those rubber gloves,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why we pull the shrink wrap really tight to get a good grip on the furniture. But and then you're breathing those masks. It's not the greatest, but it is.
Yeah.
We're in a pandemic. It is what it is. Again, we're movers. I see stuff that I'm like, I don't know, man. Let me take some videos. Let me take some pictures, and let me talk to my guys. And they're like, man, we can do that. No worries. I mean, we shipped a Mercedes to Dubai. You know what I mean? Like
No
we can do.
kidding.
Yeah. So it's like, but with this pandemic, it is a kind of a challenge, but it's been quite busy because, well, even with you, we've been getting a lot of leads from
Yeah.
Muva, and a lot of people are just relocating. They are.
So they're relocating. This is a big thing we see a lot of, and I've actually talked to a number of different people about this relocation. Where do you see them relocating to? I would say from your perspective, you would be dealing with people relocating out of Los Angeles. So you're seeing more moves interstate or more moves to different smaller towns in California, or what would you say you're seeing?
Well, I mean, a lot of people are just moving because in California too, is because what's happening is they're buying a place that has a little bit more land, and
Right,
they're building their tough shed, or they're building their container, and they're making their home office. You know what I
right.
mean? That's
Yes.
happening a lot. And there are a lot of people that are going out of state. I mean, we moved. I mean, we've gone to Idaho. I've gone to Idaho a couple times. Who goes to Idaho? Nobody really goes to Idaho. And now, the next 2-3 months, my drivers are turning around, going to Idaho. A lot of people are buying houses. The price is very good there. The taxes are very good there. They're building a garden, and their kids are in the yard, and the weather is not an issue anymore. It's like, it's just not. And they probably will come back maybe when they get older, but a lot of them are going to small towns. They really are.
So you've
It's kind
seen more small town moves in this last year than than many other years that you can remember?
Yeah, definitely. Especially to Idaho, Montana. I've moved five people from Manhattan Beach to Montana.
Wow.
Yeah, and Idaho, Utah, Ohio. I have a guy that moved to Ohio. He's like, I'm paying $5,000 a month in Playa Vista. I
Hmm.
can't use the amenities. I can't get my coffee. It's a tri-level. My kids can't play outside. I bought a house in Ohio for 300 grand with a 3,000 square foot shed in the back. And he goes, I work at home. I was crying. My kids were outside playing tag, and they're having a blast. It's, they got their jackets on, a little chilly, but they're having a blast, and they got a whole land. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's it. They're done.
Big change.
Yeah.
So a big
Yeah.
change, and that, do you see that with the businesses, or this is more with individuals that we're referring to? Do you see it with
Well,
businesses or?
what I see a lot of now is the small offices, like the little small internet companies,
Mhm.
you know, um, and what they're doing is they're bringing it into our storage, they're storing it, and
Oh,
just kind of
interesting.
waiting and just kind of waiting. Everything's a wait right now, you
How
know?
interesting. How interesting. Michael, this is fascinating. I've got one more. If you've got one last question, and I always say
Sure.
this to people, say that, but I do have another question here. It's, if you had one important tip for business owners and homeowners considering a move today, what would it be?
Considering a move,
So if you're
what to look,
considering moving as a business, would you have one tip for that business owner? And if you're considering a move as a homeowner, what would you say would be one important tip, no matter where you're moving to?
well, as a business owner and you're moving a business, you definitely have to go with the company because you're dealing with a high rise, which most of them will request a certificate of insurance. So there's
Right.
no way under of going shiesty on a shiesty mover.
Yes.
Because if it's a nice building, but
Mhm.
some of them don't. And if you don't, and you get a mover that goes in there and damages that stainless steel sliding elevator door, and they don't cop to it, they're going after you. So I would make sure you got a company that can handle the certificate of insurance.
Yes.
As far as a
homeowner, individual
homeowner, yeah, as far as a homeowner goes and a homeowner move, I would say the move is the best move you could ever have in your life is from 8 to 5. 8 to 6 at the max.
So pick up. So when you say 8 to 5, pick up at your location, at your home, your existing home.
Pick up your home packed and ready, or we do the day before packed and ready. We're loading at 8.
They start loading the truck up at 8 a.m. in the morning, and then they're dropping.
We're signing the paper,
and then
we're signing the paperwork at 5:30 in the evening.
5:30 in the evening, everything's dropped and inside there. Yep.
Yep, everything's not dropped, put down nicely.
Good point.
Everything
That's why you're the pro mover, mate.
Yeah, everything is put down. Another thing, if you're doing your own packing, label your boxes on the side, because the last thing's going to go in is boxes, and you don't want your kitchen boxes going in the garage. Now you got to move them all over the house. So we will move them anywhere you want, but make sure, here's another tip, real quick, tip. When we get to the destination, a lot of times we'll show up with 2 big trucks, okay? The neighbors want to come out. Wow, who's this? Who bought Jimmy's house? Jimmy? Yes. Who's Jimmy? Okay, okay. So they go in, and now they're out in the parking lot, and they're out in the street talking. Oh, how you doing? Oh, now they're having a glass of wine. Meanwhile, we're moving. Stuff's going in. Okay, we're done. Now they go in the house and go, oh, no, the sofa's got to go here. No, these boxes have to go over here. No, man, be organized. Be ready to go. And when you get to the destination, be with the driver, have a floor plan, because time is money. And the more ready to go you are, the more organized you are, the more you're going to save money. And that is the key. And I tell you, my guys love to go into a house that's ready to go. They go into a house that's just like a bomb went off. You're probably going to get closer to what I estimate, or even over. Or we might even knock a change order on you because you're not ready to go.
There you go. Preparation is key. Preparation is going to save everybody aggravation and time, and importantly for the customer, the most important for them is they're getting a quality move. They're saving money in the process of all this.
And one last thing, really, it's like I said, 8 to 5. So I always figure my estimates. If I get into 7 o'clock in the evening, I add another guy. So now I'm at 4 guys. Now, okay, I'm at 5. Now I'm gonna add another guy. Like I said, I'm not doing 4 men 10 hours anymore. It's 5 men 8. We're done. Yep. And it's so much better. Everybody's happy. I mean, it is. And then if we do like 3, let's say to Palm Springs, I definitely do it in 2 days.
2-day moves.
2-day moves. You can't do it.
So the plan, how do you do that? How do you do it? Just quickly, how would you do that? This is LA to Palm Springs we're talking about, say from Marina Del Rey that's a good one. You'd know that, Marina Del Rey to Palm Springs. How would you do that? Pick up at 8 a.m.?
Yeah, get in at 8 a.m., load it all up. They bring it back to the warehouse, and then we put these bands on them. There's these bands on the lock.
Okay, 3 locks. First, it's in the warehouse, so you're basically storing it in the warehouse in storage vaults.
Yeah. No, we don't.
You don't store it. It's just the truck goes in the warehouse.
It just goes. It's locked up. Doesn't go in the warehouse. It's just locked up, and we have a highly secure yard. And then it goes. I have a band on all the locks with a serial number that you have. And then when you get to the destination, you have to. Wire. We give you wire cutters to cut the lock. In fact, real quick, I got a really funny story. We moved a judge in Brentwood, and I think he was going a little senile and everything. He didn't trust anybody. So we did the move, and he was going to Palm Springs, big job. So he said, I said, look, I put bands on it. No one's going to be in the warehouse. I have cameras everywhere. No problem. He's like, no. I'm using my own locks. I'm like, okay, no problem. Well, you can lock it up yourself. No problem. So he locks it all up. We go, back to the warehouse, get up. And here's the good thing about going to Palm Springs, because we can get up at 6 in the morning and get there at 8 or 9. And now we're unloading, and then we're done by noon. And then you get all afternoon to unload. So it's great. So anyways, we get up, we're all ready to go. We're heading to Palm Springs. We're at the destination. Okay, Mr. Judge, we're ready to unload. Okay, where's the key? I can't find the key. So we're like, oh, geez. So then we go to the hardware store and we have to buy these locks, cut locks. He bought special locks that you couldn't even cut with the damn, what do you call those? So the lock things.
Yeah.
We had to get a locksmith to grind it out, So
Amazing.
but that's
Michael, this is amazing. I'm going to tell you, this has been great. We are coming to the end here. But there's going to be more questions for you, as there always is. These stories are fascinating and a great insight. And I really got to say, as always, it is just fabulous to have you come on the show. For the people, just to, I'll let Michael say a quick bit. Please subscribe to our podcast. You can find us on Instagram at Muva Inc. That's MUVAINC. You can also reach out to Michael Ferrari on email, I think, right, Michael? Would that be the best way to reach out to you?
Yeah, correct. It's michael@ggiant.com.
Perfect. And then thank you very much for coming on, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Thanks for having me. It's great. And yeah, next time, I got a lot of crazy stories in the movie industry. So well, you want to hear some later, I can sure do it later.
For sure. So until later, thanks everybody for tuning in, and see you next time. Please, all of you, keep moving.
Keep moving. Muva.